Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the first episode of Age of Geek podcast.
That
Hi.
intro was dope, Jake.
I totally thought that there was going to be the music playing right now. And then I was like, oh, we're not going to rock out and dance to our super cool music.
Yet.
I don't know why you were.
So I didn't know what to expect.
And what I shared before we started recording.
I thought it was the intro and then you played the music and I was wrong. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right.
It was still amazing.
Why did we let him
It
do
was
the
a
moderation this episode?
I'm beginning to wonder
Look,
myself.
no one else was jumping up to it. So I was like, let's go.
I think we need a mutiny.
We should probably say what we are and who we are since this is the first episode.
I mean,
Oh.
probably.
Start with that since we've gone a minute and nobody even knows who we are.
Who are you people again?
Who?
Well, we
What?
are Age of Geek Media, aka Age of Geek podcast. We are a geek community that is focused on bringing other geeks together through community. We have a lovely Discord that you can join that basically allows you to be able to connect with all of us and our mini podcasts that we have within our network.
I thought you
Yeah.
said mini podcast. I was like, mini? What
Not-
constitutes
not like
a mini
mini.
podcast?
5-minute podcast.
Oh,
You know,
Mini.
cutscenes and
No, we don't.
cupcakes is
We
just
don't.
such small personality people that it's
Yeah,
just
small
miniature.
personality people.
That's definitely true.
That's
Movies
what-
that make us too. There's
Yes.
like no big personalities on that show at all.
nope. Not at all.
Never.
That's
Oh
why
my
we call
God.
ourselves mini podcasts. So let you guys know. There you
Oh,
go. We
goodness.
thought it was
Well-
a plethora of podcasts, but nope. There's just a couple, and we're just small personalities.
It's
Tiny
fine.
baby.
That's why we're excited to do Age of Geek. That won't be the mini podcast, it'll be the mega podcast.
The mega,
The Mega Podcast.
the mega cast.
Kind of like Megadeth from The Office.
No,
Mhm.
No? Oh, okay.
no. You've
Oh.
gone too far.
That's fine.
We don't.
Sorry that
After all, the
No.
Office
white shirt
references,
is too
good
much
to know.
for you. Fine.
Oh, my
Never.
goodness.
Well, I'm Steph. I'm going to introduce myself because no one else has.
Please
I'm
do.
Steph, part of the Cutscenes and Cupcakes podcast, as well as this podcast now. Yeah, I'm excited to be podcasting with these fine folk.
I'm Jake, not from Cutscenes and Cupcakes or State Farm, believe it or not.
Oh,
No, I
I
could
didn't
be, though.
believe
But
it.
are you wearing khakis?
No, I'm wearing shorts. Again, Steph, you asked me that the other day, too. I'm still wearing shorts. It is 100 degrees outside. I'm wearing shorts.
Are they khaki shorts?
They're khaki-colored shorts. Does that help?
Ha
But they're cargo-y type shorts. Anyway,
Cargo khakis.
this is way more information than anybody needs to know about shorts or pants.
I
that
bet
wear.
you that
This-
Jake on State Farm from State Farm on the weekend would wear khaki cargo shorts.
I just
khaki
want to
cargo.
say, speaking of Jake from State Farm, the new Jake from State Farm is quite the upgrade. He's not a bad-looking chap. I'm just saying.
He looks like he's straight out from like Old Spice commercials.
Maybe he is.
They should combine them.
Combine them together.
Ooh, a collab.
State Farm Spice.
Old Farm.
Old Farm. Jake from Old Farm. I'm from the Movies That Make Us podcast, so didn't get a chance to say that yet, but there you go. Check us out. Episodes out most Mondays. So
I like that. Episodes out most Mondays.
well, we have typically been very good. People who listen know that Val has been doing a lot of traveling, and so we have had to make some adjustments to our release schedule, and that's fine.
Yo,
Because we'd rather have
totally.
Val there than not. So
Yeah. I love it. Well, I'm Marlee, and I'm also from the Cutscenes and Cupcakes podcast. And now this one. Yay. And I'm just so happy to be here with you guys.
Episodes out most Wednesdays.
Oh, yes. Cutscenes episodes out most Wednesdays.
you guys do a pretty good job of getting it out every Wednesday until you guys go on break. Like in between seasons, you don't release, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took a
Yeah.
long old break because we need it. We deserve it.
Well, we had 3 weddings.
Yeah, but no
During
funerals.
that one
which is a
break.
good thing.
Yeah, there were 3 weddings, and 2 of the weddings were members of our podcast, not to each other. They were 2 separate weddings.
Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate
Steph would have been more excited if it was.
it. Oh my gosh. And I'm Collin, formerly of.
Hold on.
What?
Wait a second. One of those weddings was your wedding, Marlee.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. It was.
Yep. So newly married Marlee. That's not going to stick.
Getting
is it?
close to
I
that
mean,
1-year anniversary.
It's true. We're at
Yeah.
10 months now.
Wow. Do you think it's gonna stick?
This is the podcast where we confess that where the marriages don't work out. This is how Jason's going to find out.
Let's dive into
No.
some marriage therapy here today.
Oh, that's no. That's Age of Geek
No?
After Dark.
I would
Oh,
love
sorry.
to do an advice podcast.
My bad.
It would be so fun.
I,
Probably
it wouldn't.
it sounds fun until like you're responsible for the advice that you're giving and then the decisions that people are making based on that advice.
We'd make a disclaimer at the beginning.
We're not therapists. We do not have a doctorate or a master's or anything that you actually need to be giving
Hashtag
out.
does not have their crap together.
I'm sure you could get certified on the internet for like $5.
Well, I married my best friends as their priest from an internet site. So I'm sure I could get a therapist license too.
Was it by the Internet of Galactic Federations?
No, it was like the Unitarian Church of the world.
Okay.
What? Do you have a problem with the Galactic Federations, Jake?
I don't know what you're trying. I can't tell what you're trying to make fun of, Collin.
It's you know what?
Is that a
You don't
Star
understand
Trek
my
reference?
jokes. That's okay.
I guess that's where I'm at. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's a me problem,
okay.
not a
It's-
you problem.
it's-
Obviously, because you're
that's okay.
hilarious.
One day you'll
I-
be as nerdy and geeky
I
as
wouldn't say
Collin.
hilarious, but thank you. I appreciate the sentiment.
So, Collin,
All
who are
right.
you? We interrupted your intro.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I'm Collin. I have no other podcast because I'm a loner.
Oh,
You're kind
It's
of like
okay.
the honorary member of like all of our podcasts.
Oh,
So let's be
shucks.
honest.
I also feel like you're moderating tonight because you're kind of like you're not our boss, but you're our boss.
Because I have nothing else to do. Whoa! There's no boss here. We're all partners in this.
You're the person that we let think is our boss, so that you
Oh,
don't
thank
go
you.
home and cry.
Also, the person that we let think is our boss, so that when somebody has a complaint, we just point them in your direction.
There we go.
It's just so fun. I
Oh.
love dealing with HR.
You don't like our advice podcast?
You told
Talk
me
to
I
Collin.
couldn't be in HR. This is not my fault.
I will tell you what's up.
Oh my goodness.
No,
so
I'm a
what are we-
lover of the geeks.
Yeah.
A big
Oh.
time
Does
Star Wars buff.
Does your wife know that you're a lover of the geeks?
What the like geeks in general. All the
Right.
people.
Platonic.
You know, exude some love in the world.
I'm drinking Dutch Bros, by the way. They're
Not
not
a
a
sponsor.
sponsor, but if they'd
What do
like to be,
That'd
What
be
are you
great.
call us
drinking?
up. It is a Dragon Slayer Frost.
Oh, that sounds
Ooh, that one is good.
Yeah, I like the Dragon Slayer. It makes me feel like I'm ready for battle. It doesn't, but I like it. It tastes good.
Did you get 25 extra bonus points on your Dutch Bros app?
My wife went and got it, so she probably
Oh.
got it on her app.
what do you get with 25 points?
Well, if you get enough points, you get free drinks.
Yeah.
See, Dutch Bros, you should really sponsor us because we are hyping up
Just
your
explaining
app.
it. And
I
their
think
app's
the app-
like pretty darn cool.
And
Their
then
app is pretty
you
cool.
also
And
get
you get
extra
free
stickers.
stickers on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
like
stickers
stickers,
Tuesday.
not like in real life stickers. These are fake.
No, real life stickers. If you go on Tuesdays, you get a sticker.
Oh, I thought you meant like the stickers in the app, which, you know.
Well,
are
I mean,
cool.
yeah, you get stickers from the app, but you
Every
also
Tuesday
get
or
real
just
life
the
stickers.
first Tuesday of the month?
Is it just the first Tuesday?
I
We
think
better
it
do
is.
this right if we want them to sponsor us.
Oh my gosh.
I'm downloading the app
Better
now.
research it now. Go, go, go.
Forget
All
everything
right.
else we've planned
Well-
to talk about tonight. We are talking about Dutch
We're
Bros
just talking about
and,
Dutch Bros. It's fine.
and how frequently they will give you stickers.
I mean they should sponsor us because they were founded in my hometown, and
They
I've
were?
supported them ever since.
Do
Yeah,
you
Grants
know
Pass,
do
Oregon.
you know the founder?
I don't, because they're like 20 years older than me or
The
something.
founder of Crumble lived in Blakestorm.
Mm.
He doesn't live there
Oh.
anymore. He's very wealthy.
I'm sure with their
Probably.
500 locations and the Utah Cookie Wars cookie lawsuit.
First
Listen,
there was
for
the
those-
soda wars, now there's the cookie wars.
Yeah, for those of you who don't live in Utah, there are two things that we fight over here, and that is who has the best really expensive cookie and where you can get the best dirty soda. And dirty soda, for those of you not living in Utah, does not mean it has alcohol in it. Because I think anywhere else, they would assume dirty soda meant that it had alcohol in it. Just means we add flavors to it.
I thought it was just that we. I thought it was specifically like a dirty Diet Coke or dirty Dr. Pepper. It had coconut in it or something like that.
I
Coconut
think
and
that's
lime.
like how it originated, but I think now,
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's where it originated, but I think it's now
The
a
term
modern
has grown.
term.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It's weird. It's fine.
We love our soda and cookies here.
Well, should we dive into some news?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk San Diego Comic-Con, because that just happened a week ago, and there's a ton of news from that.
Yeah,
Um,
and DC, I'm just going to throw this out there before we get too deep into it, Colin. And I don't want to ruin your groove here, but
Oh, it's okay.
I love that DC has decided to wait and like announce all of their news post San Diego Comic-Con, because I do think that during the con, everybody was like, "So, are they going to announce anything?" But I can understand why they waited, because a lot of it was just bad news. There wasn't-
Yeah,
Funny the way
it
you
was
said that.
horrible.
Sorry. I'm gonna interject because Colin's like, let's talk news. And then you're like, okay, so in DC, and I'm like, DC, Washington.
Oh no, not that kind
Not
of
that
news.
news. We're
No.
talking news.
There's plenty of bad
Far
I
news.
was
from
like,
political
wow,
news.
Jake's
That's
going for it. I don't
This
want
is a
him
totally
to, but I want to
different
see what
podcast.
happens.
If you saw the name of this and thought, "Oh, they're going to talk about nerdy, geeky stuff," I don't know what to tell you. It's all political.
Psych! This is a political podcast. Welcome. Just kidding.
Yeah, DC does
is
their own
not.
thing. DC Comics does their own thing.
Yeah.
If their own thing is disappointment,
Wow.
Colin is already throwing shade on
Okay,
DC.
so our tagline
Listen,
is all
Linda,
Geeks
listen.
Welcome, even though Colin doesn't like
DC.
DC.
Yeah. It's
It's-
okay.
I like some of DC's content. Like, I actually like DC Super Pets.
It's cute.
that was
it
such
was a
a
cute
cute
movie.
movie. I loved it.
Yeah, it was hilarious. There were some really good parts.
There was
Uh,
good grown-up humor. Which
And
is
if
always
they could just
appreciated.
get those kind of storylines into their live action movies.
I don't know that they need a Super Pet storyline in their live action movies.
Well,
I think
you know what I'm saying.
Here's always been my thing with DC. They have amazing comics and content, but
Mhm.
then they don't make those into their movies. And I'm just like, why? They were
Because-
going to do Flashpoint for the Flash movie, and then Ezra Miller is Ezra Miller.
went like bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now who knows what's going on with that?
Because he was just like formally convicted now, right?
Yeah.
For
that's
for,
like today.
for theft.
Yeah.
Well,
it for
and
theft?
I don't
I think
know.
robbery.
I mean,
think
he's
he-
got so many like pending charges. It's ridiculous. It's pretty much every other weekend he's out doing something and getting pulled over for
Oh,
speeding or going and just stealing stuff. Like, I don't know what is up with the people that DC cast.
Well, and if you notice in the Shazam trailer, he kind of Shazam Billy, is that what his name
Yep,
is?
Billy
Yeah.
Batson. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. He's kind of like going through and kind of like talking about all the Justice League members. Like he does like a quick like intro, and you see like each person, but you know who you don't really see? The Flash. They never show his face. And it's not just because he's running really fast on the screen, doing like, in like mid action or whatever. I think it's because I think DC is definitely like, yeah, we're done with Ezra Miller.
Yeah. I do wish they would have brought Grant Gustin in as the Flash for the DC
That would have
universe.
been amazing.
Because I do feel he did a pretty dang good job, especially the first like 5 or 6 seasons.
Of the Flash
the last couple have been a little painful to watch. I don't know if you guys are current with those or
Absolutely not.
Given up.
I gave up a couple seasons ago.
Unfortunate.
Like the absolutely not. Not just no, but absolutely not.
They had a good solid season after Arrow had its final season. And then after that, I feel like it just started falling down. And with Black Lightning, I don't feel like that ever like hit a stride.
Because you're racist.
Well,
what?
My husband and I have a joke about how Stephen Amell loves the Arrow more than anyone else in the world loves the Arrow.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of the same thing with even the Arrow TV series. Like first few seasons, actually pretty good for what it is, but then all of a sudden it got like it just starts going in a direction that you're like, I'm not having fun anymore. This is lame.
Yeah.
So it's easy to stop watching.
Well, it was interesting at San Diego Comic-Con because DC Warner Brothers, they showed new clips of Black Adam, which we knew was coming, and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and people were left wondering where's the Batgirl footage, because that movie was like 95% done, like ready to go to post. And so I think people were expecting to see something from that, and there was nothing. And then Warner Brothers made the announcement a few days later that they were just pulling the project completely. It wasn't going to be in theaters. It wasn't going to be on HBO Max. Just shut it down. 95% done. Like it was shot. They were in post and they just shut it down.
Like, why?
I think they didn't see a profit in it. But they'd already sunk in $90 million.
If you've already gone that far, like at least recover some of it. Like,
right.
There's going to be people that are going to watch it. It doesn't matter. Like, what was it? Kevin Smith, big, huge comic buff / producer on like a lot of DC and like Marvel movies. He basically just said, I don't get why they don't release it because it doesn't matter. Like people are going to go see it. It doesn't matter if it's a bad movie because it's going to be better than anything else that they were going to put out and at least bring, that character to life.
Yeah. Right.
I agree. I would love to see them release it. But
well, and they scraped the TV show too, didn't they?
Yeah, Batwoman.
Yeah.
That show, unfortunately, like they ended up losing their lead actress.
Yeah.
The second
season. Which was bummer because Ruby Rose is great. And she's the type of person who is like attractive to both men and women. Like she would have killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fandoms can suck sometimes.
Correct.
I mean, it's tough, especially when you're considered like a minority like that, right? And you're put in this position, and I mean, what was that girl's name that played Rose in
on
Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
Oh, why am I spacing on her name?
I don't know.
Anyways, it's Kelly Marie Tran.
Listening right now, that's like, it's this name. What's wrong?
Right? It's this person, Kelly Marie Tran. She's had to completely delete Twitter and Instagram like multiple times because of the backlash of The Last Jedi. and then coming back into the final film only gets like, what was it, like 30 seconds of screen time?
Something like that, yeah.
We could do a whole episode on why The Rise of Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie ever made, and it's not just the quality, but that's not what we're talking about today. But I could get into it.
Maybe
the third
we
one?
Maybe
What's that?
someday.
Is that the third one?
It's the third of the sequels, yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen. I still haven't seen the last one.
Yeah.
that's okay.
That's not surprising, Steph.
So Warner Brothers in DC, obviously they're falling apart. Supposedly they have a 10-year plan. They announced earlier this week. We'll
Like
see.
Stalin.
Well, I was thinking more like what they said about 8 years ago when they also had a 10-year plan that obviously
Okay.
didn't work out. But we'll see. But we should talk about the other big superhero company that does seem to have their stuff together.
Marvel.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who are saying that they don't have a vision anymore,
Yeah.
which
There-
is just a bunch of nonsense. Like, Marvel knows exactly where they're going.
I'm not sure about
It's-
that. Have you seen their movies lately?
Have
Yeah.
you?
Well,
you?
Or the TV shows?
let's
No, I
just
haven't
go
seen it
ahead
yet.
and put Eternals aside. All right.
I liked Eternals. Everything else is
What?
balderdash.
Hold on. Eternals was good,
Yes.
but Thor, Love and Thunder, Balderdash? You can't.
Let's
come on.
let's have a whole episode on how bad Love and Thunder was.
I
Love and
thought
Thunder was
I didn't
awesome.
think you hated it that much.
I give it a solid C.
Listen, it at least deserves a B, if for nothing else. Chris Hemsworth's naked butt. It's got to get something.
True.
I
Oh my
could find that on the
goodness.
internet any day I wanted to.
I mean, that was
Oh my goodness. So, okay, back to Marvel. Here's my thing. So, earlier that day, so the day of San Diego Comic-Con, when like all of those Marvel announcements in Hall H just came flooding out, literally earlier that day, I was talking with my husband, Jason, and I was like, a lot of people are having a hard time being a Marvel fan right now. Kind of myself included, but at the same time, like for me, quality or not, I just love Marvel movies. I love the TV shows. And so like for me, I'm just like, oh great, a new TV show. I'll watch it and I know I'll enjoy it, even if popular opinion, most people don't like it. But so then anyways, we were kind of analyzing how
Lemming.
there's so what?
What?
Why-
Steph?
Did you say lemming?
She
No.
did.
Of course not.
So with phase 4 with Marvel, it's been really, really hard to see the direction. And like I get it. Like I'm right there with everybody. Even though I'm like, for the most part, like I really like everything, it has been really hard because nothing has connected. Not like phases 1, 2, and 3 did. And so it's been kind of hard because we get all these introductions to all these different characters. And then you get into this movie, like, for example, Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, multiverse. We were introduced, like one of the introductions to the multiverse was in the Loki TV series. Where was Loki in the Doctor Strange movie? Like, why didn't we get those crossovers? So anyways, I was totally analyzing this with my husband, and then literally like 2 hours later, bam, we get like all of these announcements about all of these awesome Marvel stuff coming up, especially finally announcing some Avengers movies where we're going to get those crossovers. And so like for me, I'm like more hopeful about where Marvel is going. I don't know about you guys, but like for me, I can see how it's all coming together now. Even though it's taking longer and there's just so many characters now. And it's just going to take more time, I think. And so that's what I think makes it hard too.
I think they just had a different approach too, because the first couple seasons, the first
Phases.
couple phases, the only real connection that they had, like leading up to Avengers, was the after credits. That was really the only piece that was like paving it to be something.
Yeah, like with the teasers about Thanos and even like all the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff going on and how they want to join the Avengers initiative kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think this route they're just trying to go through and actually establish characters in
Mhm.
preparation for a lot of things. Because I mean, they're obviously prepping for Young Avengers, right?
Mhm.
You know, we've got Kate Bishop now. We've got Ironheart coming. We've got
America. What's her
Chavez.
name?
America
America
Chavez.
Chavez. Yes.
Yep. And so
Khan.
we're getting prepped for it, but I think it's going to be one of those things that's more rewarding when the time comes. And I think that's why we've also got 2 Avenger movies coming in 2025, was it?
Yeah.
Well, then can you at least admit Phase 4 is kind of like the throwaway episode that
No,
it's
I
like
don't.
the musical episode that no one wanted and isn't necessary, but they throw it in there anyways because they don't have much else on their plate.
I don't think so, Seth. I don't think we see the value in Phase 4 yet. I get what you're saying. And I understand people being frustrated with Phase 4 because especially after Phase 3, where everything was connected. But really, when you go, I think we look back on the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of with these rose-colored glasses of, oh, they had everything planned out from day one, meticulously planned, and all of these Easter eggs and everything. Some of them were on purpose. Some of them were kind of just thrown in there like, hey, this would be cool if down the road this was something, you know. But the connectivity in Phase 1, like you said, Collin, that was really just the end credit scenes. And I think Phase 4 is very similar to Phase 1, where we're now meeting some of the new heroes that we're going to see later in the Avengers. And while it feels like the throwaway episodes or the filler episodes, I just don't know that we know the impact of them yet. But I do agree some of it's been weird. Like the Eternals is a great example. That movie was what it was, whether you liked it or not. But nobody's talked about anything that happened in the Eternals since it happened. Like that is completely disconnected from the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Shang-Chi, same thing. Like you asked where Loki was in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Shang-Chi was literally picked up by Wong and brought to the place where they were fighting Scarlet Witch. Where was he?
That's true. A lot of people are saying that that Wong is the new Agent Coulson.
Yeah,
Because he's kind of like the common denominator right now. He's showing up randomly in a bunch of these TV shows and movies. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. I always love when they're like, oh, here's Wong.
Yeah. But I get it. I'm not trying to be a lemming, Steph, and say I love everything that Marvel does. But I think that we just haven't gotten there yet where these make sense. And so some of them may not be as enjoyable because of that. And I get that too.
I will say there's 2 casting calls that are chef's kiss. Brett Goldstein as Hercules. Really stoked about that. And then they're going to have Shea Coulee of RuPaul's Drag Race fame in Ironheart. And I think that will be fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know that I like Goldstein as Hercules yet.
I don't either, especially after just watching Ted Lasso.
No.
Oh my gosh. Roy Kent.
So if it helps to know, he actually wrote some of Ted Lasso. So like that like grumpy dude, that's not really who he is.
Oh, for sure. He's an actor. And I can see.
Yeah.
I just didn't like how he looked at the end of Thor. When he stood up, I was like, okay, this is a little.
He looked really short too.
But
hey now.
But I'm excited to see how it plays out. I think it'll be interesting.
So of the movies and TV shows that were announced for Marvel, what ones would you guys say you're the most excited for? Like name like 1 or 2. Are there any that you're particularly excited about?
Steph hates them all.
And not just for who's in them, but like just the characters.
I'm excited for Ironheart. I am not an Iron Man fan. And so when I heard that they, in the comics, and I read some of the comics, replaced them with a tech-savvy young girl named Riri Johnson. I know her first name's Riri. I was super stoked about that in the comics. And so to see that they're going to incorporate her, I think will be fantastic. I am nervous about the backlash that she might get, as we talked about people who don't understand the meaning of like every geek welcome or like loving people and yeah.
yeah, there will be backlash for sure. Similar to like Sam Wilson taking on the Captain
America.
Right.
Yep.
you know, and this will be even worse because then you throw the gender in it. Yeah, it'll be bad.
Right.
What,
Going from RDJ to her, I think will be a hard thing for some people to swallow.
Yeah.
Which ones are you excited about, Jake?
Well, next week on the show we're talking about Daredevil Born Again, which I know you're really excited about. So I'm excited about that one. But the ones I'm going to pick are Fantastic Four. I really want to see them incorporated in the MCU, and I think that'll be really exciting. My sister and I argue about this all the time because she keeps telling me that the Fantastic Four do not belong in the Marvel universe, and I keep trying to tell her they're the first family of Marvel, so I'm not sure why she thinks they don't belong. And then I think the other one that I'm really, since San Diego Comic-Con and the footage that they released at San Diego Comic-Con, the new She-Hulk series, I'm much more excited for that than I was with the initial trailer that they released.
Did you guys
I
watch
agree.
Orphan Black?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
Tatiana Maslany is main character in that. And so I was stoked when they named her as She-Hulk. I think she'll do a great job.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm really excited for She-Hulk as well. Like, I don't even care. Like, some people were like, "Oh, the CGI looks weird." And again, I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I just think it'll be fun to see her character in the show and kind of see how like her lawyerness, I don't even know what the right term is, but just kind of see her do that thing. And I'm especially excited for the cameo that's going to be in her series.
It sounds like it's much more than a cameo, though.
Yeah, they're saying it may be more than a cameo.
And I'm talking about Daredevil for those who don't know. So that will be awesome to see him. I guess kind of I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a tease, even though it is more than a cameo, just because, again, like as Jake mentioned, we're getting a new another series, another season of Daredevil, and it's called Born Again. I'm really excited about that one. And I think the other one I'm most excited about too, and I'm really curious which characters they pick to be in it, and that is Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Because they're kind of sort of like the Suicide Squad of the MCU.
So
kind of.
In the Marvel comics,
they're like anti-heroes.
They're villains, really. They are villains who posed as the Avengers during the Dark Age or whatever it was called, the Marvel timeline. It was like the Dark Age or something. And like Norman Osborn was US Patriot, and like they were all, you had the Red Hulk who was Thunderbolt Ross, and then after they were kind of outed as like these posers and they started being called the Thunderbolts and working for the government and being more of the Suicide Squad type thing. I think they're building them different in the MCU, and I think anybody that Val has touched in the MCU, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I think that's who could possibly end up in the Thunderbolts. And when you look at that, it's an intriguing team.
It's true.
So I agree. That one looks interesting.
What are you most excited for, Collin?
I don't know about most excited. I think most interested to see where they go, which will be Black Panther. After the tragic loss of Chad, like it's hard to see the direction that they're going to take it and who's going to pick up that mantle. And I mean, there's so I don't know. It's also really intriguing watching the trailer to be able to see, kind of some of the ceremonial aspects of Wakanda and kind of what they. I think culturally it'll be cool to see what they do with words.
They're hard.
With,
like his funeral.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see that.
And isn't there a teaser for Ironheart in that too? Isn't
I think
she?
possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
My son, my 6-year-old, the other day is big into all the Marvel superheroes, and he was going on about Black Panther, and one of his siblings told him that the actor had died, and he didn't know, and he
Oh,
was inconsolable, crying for like 20 minutes, just
Oh,
devastated when he found out that he had passed
Oh.
away. I thought, yeah,
Oh.
we all felt that when it happened. So,
poor
uh,
guy.
but yeah, so it was rough going for him, but he's doing okay. So
they have a lot on their plate.
yeah, they do, and I do have a fear that it may be too much at some point, and it may start feeling bloated, and they're not going to be able to give the attention that they need to everything.
Well,
Marvel
and do
Studios.
you feel that there might be getting stagnation for some people's excitement in superhero stuff?
I think it's possible. I think the other stagnation might be part of what happens. I think the other thing is we're starting to get into a lot of the characters that people just don't know
Yeah.
unless they've read
Yeah.
the comics. And to me, that's exciting because I want to see these stories that I'm not as familiar with. But is a Thunderbolts movie going to have the same draw that a Thor movie was going to have, or that another Iron Man movie is going to have? Is Ironheart going to have the same draw as Iron Man? And just because she doesn't have that same established history and everything that Iron Man did, and things like that. So that's where I think it'll be interesting more. I think in combination with the stagnation is, are we getting into the characters that people just don't care as much about? And if you do that occasionally with like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that's okay. We're getting to the point where that's going to be most of the movies that are coming out are these characters that people are like, I'm not attached to that character right now.
Right.
But if that does happen and DC can get their act together, it may be a great time for them to launch like a Superman movie or a Batman movie, because those are characters that people do know right off the bat.
But would they bring back Henry Cavill or find a new Superman?
They're going to probably find a new Superman, and that makes me sad because he's an
Yeah.
amazing Superman.
He
And I
had
really wish that he would be in a decent Superman movie.
he has to go on and play Arthur Morgan in a Red Dead series.
Oh my gosh.
You can't. Poor Henry Cavill. He's going to be picked for every major nerdy thing that comes
Video
out.
game movie.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
I mean,
Well,
he
and he's
seems to love it. Like,
Yeah, so that's, and if they don't find a place for him in the Brandon Sanderson universe because he loves his books.
Oh, is he a
they said that
Branderson fan? I didn't know
he
that.
is. He's a Sando fando like myself.
Sando fandom. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of books, there was a big announcement for books for 3 out of the 4 of us at San Diego Comic
Yes.
Con. We're all
Yes,
big
yes.
Pierce Brown fans. We all
Correct.
like Red Rising. 2 more books coming.
Yeah, they were supposed
Yeah.
to end at the 6th book. So the 7th book was a big surprise for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, and they announced the release date for the 6th one. We've been waiting for 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Rothfuss fans are just like, who cares? 4 years is nothing. Our Martin fans are like, yeah, 4 years, please.
You're like, pfft. But no, this is obviously really exciting news. If you so Red Rising is kind of a sci-fi fantasy kind of post-apocalyptic, like way post-apocalyptic story. I don't know how else to describe it without taking too much time on it, but it's a really, really good series if you're into that genre at all. It's called Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
Pierce Brown also confirmed that the TV show is going to be created. It's just taking a lot longer because they are trying to sustain enough funding.
Where are they making, like, who are they making the TV show through?
He didn't confirm it, but he did say it would be a TV show.
My guess is either Amazon Prime or HBO.
Yeah. Well, it almost
needs to be.
Yeah.
For its content. It is a little bit more mature. These are not YA books.
I don't know.
Um,
Netflix is starting to reach for things. They're kind
Yeah.
of
And that's definitely who you want to make a movie with or a TV series is the people that are trying to reach for things.
oh my
Correct.
goodness.
But I don't know. We'll see where that ends up. I think it would be great. I would love to see it. So
What else were the big announcements at San Diego Comic-Con?
We've got the Dungeons and Dragons movie,
oh yeah.
Oh my
Honor
gosh.
Among Thieves.
That
That'll
looks
be
Chris
that'll be
Pine.
pretty cool to see what they end
the
up doing
Duke
with
from
that.
Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the preview, the trailer that we saw from San Diego Comic-Con. Chris Pine looks like he's having a great time in the movie, which is incredible because he's such a he's a cool guy, right? And he's making a
Mhm.
Dungeons and Dragons movie and he's excited about it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I guess Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello were selling their house, and he has like the entire setup for
Yeah.
first edition Dungeons and Dragons in his basement because he's a big D&D fan. They did not use that picture for their listing for their
Oh my
house.
gosh. They should have.
I know. I don't know
That would have been a
why.
selling point.
Come on.
That's funny. That's funny.
What other big ones were there?
One that I didn't expect to see that was actually going to be coming to theaters was Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And this one actually follows more closely with Gohan than Goku, like most of the other series do, which I loved Gohan in like the Cell Saga and pretty much right after the Cell Saga, he kind of became just this wimpy nerd kid who's just following like the university route and doesn't really want to be a hero. But this specific one shows him becoming more of that hero Gohan. And
Does he become
so
a
I'm really
Super
excited
Saiyan?
to see that. What's that?
Does he become a Super Saiyan?
Well, he was already a Super Saiyan, but
Oh.
it looks like he's trying
We
to
knew that.
unlock like a super like a god mode that
Wow.
Goku and Vegeta have been able to tap into.
I'll be honest, I don't know Dragon Ball Z at all, unfortunately, but I know it's
don't
super
either.
popular and it sounds like a big announcement for the fandom.
Yeah,
That's cool.
for sure. I'm very torn between House of the Dragon. That was another trailer that they announced. It's like the spin-off / prequel, I don't even know, for
Mhm.
Game of Thrones, and they're talking about House Targaryen, which is all the blonde people.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
heard people
Smith is in
say
it.
it's fantastic. People have
Yeah.
seen it already.
I
I've
think
heard
I'll
good
watch
reviews
it,
so
but
far.
I'm wary if I'll like it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that's fair. I know for Game of Thrones fans, the last season was very divisive and not well received. And so,
Yeah.
Oh, we
understand.
don't talk about that season.
Yeah. Well, and as a Lord of the Rings fan with Rings of Power, I don't know what to expect from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I want to
another
be
one.
optimistic about it, and I want to give it a shot. I'm not trying to be like, oh, it's awful because they did X, Y, or Z as far as the casting goes. I don't care, but I just don't know what story they're going to try to tell because of the access that they had to Tolkien's work for that time frame. They didn't have a lot. They can't use a lot of it, and so they're
So
kind
they're
of
taking
freestyling.
liberties.
Yeah, pretty liberal liberties. So yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. But
Yeah. There were so many other good ones.
They
I
also
can't.
dropped a trailer for Sandman, but which has now
It's-
come out.
Yes.
yep, Sandman is on Prime.
I
right?
haven't watched it yet, but I love Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
His work is really good, so I definitely want to give it a watch.
And this is based on one of the greatest graphic novels ever. I think
Right.
people recognize it as just a really great piece of literary work as far as graphic novels go. So And some people are going to laugh that I just call graphic novels great literary works, but I don't care. That's
Hey, we
fine.
could have a whole podcast episode on how great graphic novels are for literature.
That's right. Star Trek news, Picard for season 3, the final season. They're bringing back the whole gang. And we got to see posters of each of those characters, the Forge, Crusher, Worf, Riker, all of them are going to be back. It's going to be really cool. So we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of the Picard series so far, so we'll see how season 3 turns out. Anyway,
Nice.
I think that was the big announcements. We probably need to. It's probably close to wrapping up time.
Yeah, I definitely think that now is a really good, like, it's such a good time to be a geek.
I agree.
Because there's so many things out there, and even just like as you guys listen to this episode and hear to hear us talk about like all our different favorites and things we're excited for, you can see that there's a good variety here. There's a lot, there's something for everyone, and I think geekdom is a lot more mainstream than people think it is, or even some people might not even want to admit it. I think some people are still resistant to the idea. And so you're like, oh, you're into this thing? Well, actually you are a geek because you like obsess or you're really excited about like this thing, this fandom or whatever it is. And then they're like, oh yeah, I guess I am. And it's just kind of funny, but.
Yeah. And I think it's, I mean, going back to even like Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things, as people are watching that and they're seeing these like D&D scenes, especially in this last season, and they're like, oh wait, I kind of would want to do that. Like that actually looks super fun. Versus what it used to look like is just, oh, it's just a bunch of nerds making up things and it's just being weirdos. But like,
well, in the 80s, it was the cause of the Satanic Panic.
Right?
That's true. It was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, where can they find us, Collin?
Well, let me tell you, sir. You guys can find us at Age of Geek Media pretty much on every single social media platform, unless they're super indie, because we don't know, and that's okay.
We're not up on LinkedIn yet.
You can leave us feedback online. Tell us what you thought of this episode, what you want to hear from future episodes by emailing us at feedback@ageofgeek.com. You can also message us on Facebook or join our Discord. We'd love to have you stop by. You can also see all of our other podcasts at ageofgeek.com, where we have anything from movie podcasts to gaming podcasts. And we've got another podcast that we're going to be introducing here within the next week or two, probably, that we're really excited to join us. That's more of a story-driven podcast.
And we also have streamers, so we're not even just podcasts, too.
We have streamers. That's right.
Yeah.
The Fighting Ginger.
Mm-hmm. And Cutscenes Pod.
Yep.
Which is Steph and Marlee. It's our, we're the ones who stream on it.
So yeah, come find us, come hang out with us. Let us know if you guys have any feedback, and we're really excited to join you and be a podcast in your pocket.
Yes, all geeks welcome.
A pocket cast.
Welcome.
Pop culture.
Join us next time.
And geeks.
Bye.
Stop.